Hi guys, welcome to Real Black Love with Sings and Bongs. Another episode from us. We are still giving you guys one episode per week. We'll let you know if that changes. Anyway, if you're new, please click the subscribe button down below. Make sure that you give this video a big thumbs up. We will give you 1 second to do that. Great. Great. And yeah, let's get into today's episode. Sure guys, please forgive me if I'm a bit fluey. I don't feel too great, but today we are talking about something that we believe is a toxic trait that many relationships have, including ours. It's the issue of how you deal with conflict or deal with avoiding conflict or try to avoid conflict by using silent treatment. I personally think that this is some form of abuse. I don't know if it qualifies as emotional abuse, but I do think it's some sort of abuse.
Yeah, no, guys, I'm guilty of resorting to it. I think sometimes it's just the best way to either avoid lengthy, fruitless argument and avoiding also maybe losing your temper. Not that I have temper issues, but just being triggered in any way, or even end up saying certain things. At times it could be that. So you end up just keeping quiet, not talking about something. But however, whenever I decide to keep quiet, it's because maybe I feel like I'm not there yet, comfortable to address something. Maybe I'm still too bothered.
I think before I get into how I view it, but I think there's good avoidance and then there's bad avoidance. Good avoidance for me, like how I view good avoidance is when you feel like you're not, like when you're saying that you're not there yet, so you're not ready to talk about a situation because maybe you are still heated or you are still at the peak of your emotions, so you feel like maybe talking about it you won't be rational or you won't even be willing to be civil. I feel like then
or calm
I feel like then it's sort of justifiable. I could be wrong, but I feel like it is justifiable. But it's very tricky to also determine what is the time allowance that you have, because you cannot say, no, I don't want to talk about it, right? And then it drags over days. I feel like then it's a problem. How I think it can be bad, which is something that I feel like I have, is when you are unhappy about something and you don't talk about it and you just sort of talk yourself into forgetting about it. Because I don't think when you don't deal with things, you necessarily forget about it. So I have that thing. And I think I've always had that thing where to avoid conflict, because I don't like conflict. So sometimes to avoid conflict, I will surpass confronting situations. And even if I'm unhappy, I will just choose not to talk. And sometimes I choose not to talk for so long that even the reason why I didn't want to confront the problem, I sort of nullify it and be like, it doesn't matter. But I've realized with time that maybe it doesn't always work.
doesn't always work. I think it just prolongs the feelings that you have. It sustains them, it sustains the problem, because it's not like it's going away as you keep quiet, you know, as you are in that mood, or just, you know. I think what we need to understand is that there'll always be conflict. Conflict should not necessarily, I mean, there's healthy conflict and there's unhealthy conflict. We have never had an unhealthy conflict whereby it gets heated up. We either swear at each other or we say things that we regret or could regret, or we even fight or be physical in any way. So I think we are sober individuals. Our arguments, they only get to the level where you end up crying, right? And sometimes, sure, you raise your voice and it annoys me. I'm like, why is she raising her voice? But that's Sims. Sims is louder than I am, you know, most of the time.
But
especially when we argue.
But you can be loud.
I can.
And sometimes I can become loud.
When are you louder? When are you always loud?
But sometimes I become loud as like a counter thing, like
No.
to sort of beat your loudness.
Nah, I feel like I feel like the words, right, in your head are becoming too loud. That you end up being loud unnecessarily, unwarrantedly, right? So what I'm saying is that conflict is something that will always be there. We'll always have conflict or disagreements, right? And I think what's important is not to want to avoid when there's already an issue. Avoid confrontation when there's already an issue.
Yeah.
But to rather confront the issue. And to treat it as that. We are confronting the issue. Not necessarily you, right? You might be the person who I have an issue with, but it's not that I'm confronting you, I'm confronting the issue. And so I'm thinking that if we have such an attitude about it, then we won't see silent treatment as a good or a viable option.
Yeah.
That could, you know, help us to resolve the issue.
Would you say that silent treatment is also an indication, or what can I say, like a symptom of something like pride?
It is. It is. I know that whenever I do it, it's my pride and ego that is literally, you know, exalted or getting like that is more like controlling, you know, the situation for me. I'm not the one who's in, of course I'm the same person, but my logic, reason, and, you know, genuine feelings are not the ones at the forefront, you know, handling the issue. It's the pride and the ego that is saying no.
You're not going to be the first person to bow down to this thing that's happening.
And she has problems, guys. Pray for her.
You know what, guys? I don't think, and I'm honest, I don't think I have pride issues. I don't think I'm a prideful, I don't know what you call it, but I don't think when I become mom, I'm showing pride, or it's because of pride. It's something that I know that I don't suffer from. What I know that I struggle with is just finding, and I've said this to you before, that finding a voice and feeling like I'm allowed to speak out, even though I know that you always encourage, when you're not happy about something, no matter how small it is, just say, why usaputsa something like that, right? And as cliche as it might sound like, I feel like for me, it's how I grew up and I was brought up. I was never sort of allowed to voice out my dissatisfactions. And no matter how small something is, the reason why I say it's not pride with us is that most times you are that guy who would be like, babe, what's wrong? And even if I'm like, babe, nothing, you'll sort of pester me to say what's wrong. And I will say, even if it doesn't have to do necessarily with you, maybe you see me wanting to cry because I was talking to my mom or whatever the case is, you have to sort of get it out of me to say what's wrong. So I have that, but I don't think it's a pride thing. Okay? When something is wrong, I'm like, I'm not gonna talk about it. But then when we both become like that, where we don't want to confront issues for our different reasons, then it becomes a problem because you are not gonna ask me. And when you're not gonna ask me, I have this expectation that, no, but you always ask me. So today, why is he not asking me? Wabon? And I feel like now you are not giving me permission to speak by asking me to speak. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does, and I never actually knew that, and I never actually saw it like that. Because I didn't know, I couldn't have seen it like that. I always saw it from my own point of view, based on my own experience and my own reasons why I end up becoming like that, right? Yeah, and it's not good. Because I feel like in the process of us being quiet or on not speaking terms, there is a whole lot more that is going on. That's true. Yeah, like life does not stop, where our differences,
kick in or whatever.
Exactly. So then we are depriving each other to fully share moments, whether sharing by being in the same space or being in the same mindset or just, literally talking about things.
Yeah.
So now we lose time. That's all. We lose time. I remember when we first moved in together, way back, I think it was hectic. Like whenever we don't agree about something, would stop talking for a while. Even if we talk, we know that we are reserved.
We are just trying to be civil or communicate, but we're not really communicating because we're not talking about the thing. And thing is with that, you can feel the tension, even if you try to be like, oh, baby, why are my shoes? They are there. You can feel the tension no matter what until you confront.
And it's such a childish thing.
It's a childish thing. And I also feel like, babe, it is a very childish thing, to be honest. And I also feel like it, like you were saying, robs you of time. But I wanted to say it also becomes like a thorn within the relationship, which sometimes makes me worried that you get used to that. So you get used to going silent on someone. So if we allow it to prolong over 2 hours, the next time it happens, 2 hours is gonna feel like it's almost normal. This is what happens. Yeah. And then it takes a day, then it takes a week. That's why you find that there are people who stay together, but they don't really talk because they've allowed it to become a norm. So I think it's something that I have also realized that I cannot hold on to that thing that I don't confront things or I don't voice out when I'm not happy because I realize the danger of it. I feel like, it's just something that you can get used to and sort of prepare yourself mentally to being able to live without someone while you live with them. I don't know if that makes sense.
That's true. It can literally do that. And that's why I think it's also important, much as you are trying to resolve the issue, but also discuss and talk about how you should handle such moments where you're just not agreeing on some things or you're crossed with your partner. that can you handle it in a much better way, in a healthier way, in a way that does not cause a dent, which could end up either becoming deeper and deeper because you keep on doing it, or wider and wider, you know, like that ends up affecting the relationship to that point, where it's literally you developing a new culture of just not addressing issues soon enough and so on.
But what's the best?
If I'm making sense.
I get it, but what's the best way to approach that without? Because I feel like there are many things that are at play. Ne? I'll make an example. If, let's say, I know I made you angry, like I have an idea that you are like this because of me, it's easier for me to come to you and be like, no, babe, like, what's wrong? Talk to me about it. But it's not as easy for me if right now we are cool, we are chatting, we are filming this video, and then an hour later you go to the bedroom and you come out and you're sulking. It's not easy for me to then feel like I should be the one who is asking you, no, what's wrong? Because now you are sulking and you are giving me silent treatment and I thought things were fine, or giving me a cold shoulder and I thought things were fine. So how do you then, I feel like it's very difficult. I don't know.
No, I think it's both our duty. When I see that you are not fine, I have to ask, what's wrong? Right?
So I say I'm fine. I'm like, no, I'm fine.
I have to ask, or I have to say that I can see that you're not fine. And if you're not fine, if you insist that you are fine, and I've tried enough, then I can let it go. Maybe at a later time again, if I still see that, no, you're still not, then I'll ask again. But it's my duty. I don't know the English word for that, but it's my duty to always want to know what is bothering me.
So like force things out of me?
Yes. It's my duty to know or to find out and to ensure that you're happy or you're good, right? That I am not the cause of your unhappiness or your discontentment. And it does not stop at me ensuring that I'm not the one who's, but I have to be your smile keeper. I have to be the person who is able to cheer you up. I have to be your confidant. I have to, so like I said to you the other day, that when you're not happy, I'm not happy as well. I can't, for me, it doesn't make sense to say I'm happy and I know very well that you're not. It's almost, for me, borderline, I don't know, insanity or psycho or whatever,
crazy,
Yeah, because honestly, there's no way I can be happy when you're not. And I wouldn't understand how can you be happy and go on with your life when you know that I'm not. So yeah, it's my responsibility. It's your responsibility for you to check in to ensure that,
100%. I feel like when people say love is work or forgiveness and a relationship requires work, I think that's the work aspect of it, that things are not always smooth and you have to put in the work for your relationship to be a certain way, if you done how you have decided to relationship, right? So yeah, I think you've summed it up nicely. I don't know what you guys think, how you guys resolve conflict. How long do you let silent treatment to last? Should it last, or is it something that has to be resolved immediately? What are the rules that you apply in your relationships and in your friendships as well? Like, how long can you go without talking to someone and still regard them as your friend or your partner?
It's all in communication. I think just keep communicating and be honest with each other. and give each other space to be honest, because sometimes you could want to be honest, but you are not given space.
Yeah.
So you need to ensure that you guys create a safe space for you guys to outlet or to what? Not to exhale.
Basically. Comment, let us know your thoughts down in the comment section. And yeah, I think that's it from us for today's episode. And we will see you guys next week, Tuesday.
Sure.
Sure, guys.
Ciao, Bella, ciao.